The Highlands do not forgive. In the silence of the mountains, where the wind cuts like a blade and the shadows stretch across the valley, every choice becomes a matter of life or death. Blood stains the soil, and honor is tested against hunger, betrayal, and the will to survive. What lies ahead is not just another chapter in this story, it is the reckoning that decides who will endure and who will fall. Episode 9 left us at the edge of despair. The campfires were burning low, and whispers of betrayal spread faster than the flames themselves. We saw alliances fracture, secrets unravel, and enemies waiting in the darkness. The Highland clans, already divided by pride and old grudges, now face a new storm, one greater than any sword or spear. Survival here is not about strength alone, it is about cunning, loyalty, and the sacrifices made in silence when no one is watching. The land itself is cruel. Snowdrifts fall heavy on the ridges, cutting off paths of escape. Streams that once brought life now freeze over, leaving men and women to wonder if they will even see another sunrise. Each shadow in the forest could be a friend or the very enemy sworn to spill their blood. It is in this unforgiving wilderness that our story takes its turn. For in the Highlands, the land is both enemy and ally, shaping those who dare to survive upon it. But the true weight of this struggle lies not in the mountains, but in the hearts of those who walk them. Episode 10 promises a test of loyalty and of kinship, blood against blood, trust against betrayal. A leader's decision will not only shape the fate of their clan, but decide whether their own people live or perish. Every character stands at a crossroads, fight for survival, or sacrifice what they hold most dear. There is no middle ground. The whispers from the last episode are still echoing. Who can be trusted? Who will betray? And in the midst of all this, one truth remains clear. In the Highlands, survival demands a price. The question is, who will pay it first? The Highlands are alive with tension. A silence falls over the valleys, but it is not the silence of peace. It is the silence before the storm. In episode 10, every moment feels heavier, every glance between allies sharper, every pause in speech dangerous. The clans are no longer united by shared suffering, they are divided by fear, by doubt, and by the knowledge that survival cannot be shared equally. When the land offers only scraps, not every mouth can be fed, and not every bond can endure. In the last episode, we witnessed choices made in shadows. A whispered warning, a hidden dagger, a path walked alone. These choices linger now, like ghosts, haunting the survivors as they press deeper into the Highlands. The winds howl across the mountain passes, carrying with them the memory of betrayal. Faces once trusted are now masks, and behind those masks could be loyalty or death. Episode 10 builds on this unease, turning every step forward into a gamble with fate. What makes this chapter different is the clash between survival and honor. For centuries, the Highland clans lived by codes, rituals of loyalty, traditions of blood, rules carved into stone, and passed from father to son, mother to daughter. But hunger changes everything. Cold breaks even the strongest vows. When survival demands more than tradition allows, those codes begin to crumble. And as they crumble, so too does the idea of unity. In this way, episode 10 asks the question, how much of ourselves are we willing to lose just to stay alive? The land itself seems to reflect this chaos. Storms gather faster, the snow cuts deeper, and the forests whisper with unseen danger. Fires struggle to stay lit, as though the world itself conspires against those who wander here. The Highlands are more than a setting, they are a living trial, stripping away weakness and exposing the raw truth of every soul. Episode 10 promises to show us not only the battle between clans, but also the battle within each heart, the war of conscience, the tug-of-war between what is right and what is necessary. There is a moment teased in this trailer that changes everything. A lone figure, standing against the wind, their cloak torn, their hands bloodied. We do not see the face, but we feel the weight of their decision. The choice they make here will echo through the valleys. A choice that will decide not only their survival but the survival of all who follow them. This is the moment where silence breaks, where loyalty is tested, and where sacrifice demands its payment. As the trailer builds, flashes of fire and steel cut across the screen. Shadows of warriors moving in the night, blades meeting in secret places, a desperate cry swallowed by the wind. We see fragments, but never the whole. This is the power of episode 10. It does not give answers, it sharpens the questions. Who will stand? Who will fall? And more chillingly, who will turn against their own blood to survive? Every trailer moment is layered with symbols. A torch burning against the snowlight, struggling against the cold. A wolf's tracks in the frost, hunting or hunted, it is unclear. A broken chain left in the mud, freedom bought at a cost. Each image whispers of what is to come, each detail a warning of the reckoning ahead. Nothing here is placed by accident. Every scene is a clue, every silence a sign, every shadow a threat waiting to be named. Episode 10 is not about victory in battle, but survival in the shadows of war. It is about the cost of endurance. It is about what happens when the blood in your veins becomes both your strength and your weakness. The Highlands do not forgive. The clans may not forgive. And in this silence before the storm, one truth grows louder than all others. Survival is not given, it is taken. And it is paid for in blood. The storm breaks. It begins not with thunder, but with a single scream in the night. Episode 10 takes us deeper into the Highlands, where every shadow holds a secret and every sound is a warning. This is not a tale of heroes walking boldly into destiny. It is a story of survivors, clinging to hope while the world around them burns with betrayal. The moment the silence is shattered, we understand that the struggle for survival is no longer hidden in whispers. It explodes into action, and the price is carved into the frozen earth. The Highlands become a battlefield without borders. Snow-covered ridges echo with the clash of steel, but the true battle is not fought with weapons, it is fought in the heart. Trust is the sharpest blade here, and once it is broken, nothing can mend it. Episode 10 shows us glimpses of alliances pushed past breaking point. One clan turns its back on another, while a lone survivor weighs loyalty against hunger. There is no room for hesitation. Every second wasted can end a life. What makes this episode burn with tension is not the roar of war, but the quiet decision that happens just before the sword is drawn. The images that flicker through the trailer are haunting. A torch dropped into the snow, its flames sputtering out as though the land itself is determined to smother hope. A rider racing across the valley, their horse lathered in sweat, carrying news that could save or destroy an entire clan. A bloodied hand reaching for another, the grip uncertain, as if both know that one must fall for the other to live. These moments are not just pieces of a story, they are questions left unanswered, designed to haunt the audience until the episode is revealed. But what lies beneath the surface is even more dangerous. Episode 9 left us with betrayal simmering, and now that betrayal grows teeth. In the trailer for Episode 10, there is a chilling sequence, a table overturned, food scattered across the ground, and a voice shouting words that cut deeper than any sword. You are no longer one of us. That single moment captures the heart of the Highlands. Survival exile can be worse than death. To be cast out in a land this cruel is to be handed a slow execution by frost and starvation, yet sometimes exile is chosen willingly, a sacrifice to save the bloodline of others. The trailer hints at this sacrifice, but it withholds the identity, leaving us to wonder which familiar figure will vanish into the snow. The theme of blood echoes louder than ever here. Family ties, once seen as unbreakable, are twisted and tested. Episode 10 pushes the idea that blood is not always enough to ensure loyalty. Sometimes the very ones we trust most are the ones who strike hardest. A brother's oath, a sister's promise, a father's vow. Of these are dragged into the light of Zard, survival, and weighed against the hunger of the body and the fear of the soul. And in that weighing, something must be lost. The Highlands demand it. As the trailer surges forward, we see the land itself reflect the war inside. Rivers, swollen with ice, break apart as though the world is cracking under pressure. Trees fall, shattered by wind, just as bonds fall, shattered by betrayal. Fires rage not in celebration, but in desperation, as clans burn what they cannot carry. These are not just survival tactics, they are symbols. Episode 10 does not simply show survival, it shows the cost of survival. Every burning torch, every frozen body, every silent tear becomes a mark of what is lost in the fight to endure. And then, just when we believe the worst has passed, the trailer drops its heaviest blow. A voice, low and steady, says, "Blood of my blood, you will not survive." The words linger like frost on the breath, chilling, final, merciless. Who speaks them? Who are they spoken to? The trailer gives no answers, only a shadowy silhouette and the echo of the words themselves. But their weight lingers, leaving us unsettled. It is not just a warning, it is a prophecy, a truth that may already be written in the snow. Episode 10 is not about triumph, it is not about glory, it is about survival in its rawest, harshest form. The kind of survival that strips away identity until all that remains is instinct. And yet, beneath that instinct, there still flickers a fragile flame of hope. The trailer teases it only briefly, a child's laughter carried by the wind, a fleeting glimpse of sunrise over the peaks. These fragile moments remind us why they fight, why they bleed, and why they risk everything against the cold hand of the Highlands. Survival is cruel, but hope, even in its smallest spark, is the only weapon that outlasts the storm. The Highlands do not forgive weakness, And episode 10 makes that truth unavoidable. The trailer does not show us answers. It drowns us in questions that cut deeper than steel. We are left to wonder not only who will fight, but who will endure when the fires fade and the snow closes in. What makes this chapter different is the way it strips every character bare. Masks are torn away, secrets can no longer hide in shadows, and even the strongest are forced to admit their breaking point. The Highlands themselves demand it. No one leaves untouched in this final stretch. The trailer weaves together flashes of triumph and ruin until they become indistinguishable. A clan banner burning in the snow, was it victory or surrender? A figure kneeling in silence, was it prayer or defeat? A child clutching a blade too heavy for their hands, was it bravery or desperation? Each image is framed like a riddle, and the answers are held hostage by the storm of episode 10. The faceless storytelling draws us in deeper, because the mystery of what we cannot see matters more than what is shown. The theme of sacrifice sharpens into a blade in this moment. Earlier episodes whispered about betrayal, about shifting loyalties, but here the question becomes far more brutal. Who will be sacrificed so the others may live? The trailer teases it through fragments. A shadow dragging a body across the snow, a tear falling into firelight, a voice breaking on the words, "Forgive me." Survival here is not about defeating the enemy, is about choosing who must be left behind. The Highlands are merciless, and the blood they demand is always personal. Then comes the turning point. The trailer slows, the screen fades into near darkness, and we hear only the sound of wind. Out of the silence, the faint crack of a branch, then a whispered line. It was never the land that betrayed us. It was ourselves. That single confession shifts everything. It reminds us that the true enemy is not the storm, not the hunger, not even the rival clans, it is the betrayal within. That theme, rooted in episode 9's cliffhanger, now blossoms into full force. Episode 10 is no longer just survival against the Highlands. It is survival against the blood in one's own veins. Symbols return in powerful strokes. A wolf circling in the snow, its eyes glowing in the dark. A crow taking flight, black wings cutting across the gray sky. The echo of drums rising like a heartbeat that grows louder, faster, more frantic. These symbols are not random, they are warnings. The wolf, a reminder that predators do not wait. The crow, a herald of death. The drums, the sound of time running out. The trailer leaves us with the weight of inevitability, that whatever happens in episode 10 cannot be undone. And yet, just before the trailer ends, hope forces its way back into the story. A sliver of sunrise pierces the clouds, lighting the snow with a pale gold. A single hand reaches upward, trembling but alive. For a brief moment, we see not the end, but the possibility of survival. Not glory, not peace, but the raw, stubborn refusal to die. This is the spirit of the Highlands, not kindness, not mercy, but resilience carved into the bones of those who dare to endure. Finally, the trailer delivers its most chilling image, a pool of blood spreading slowly across the snow, and carved into the frost. Words written by a desperate hand, "Blood of my blood." The camera lingers on those words, the wind howling, the screen trembling as though the earth itself carries the weight of them. Then everything cuts to black. No resolution, no comfort, only silence. And the knowledge that episode 10 will not simply continue the story, it will decide it. As the final seconds tick away, the echo of a heartbeat fades in, slow and uneven, reminding us that time is running out for everyone who dares to stand against the Highlands. The message is clear. Survival will not be won by strength alone, but by sacrifice, by cunning, and by the choices that carve bloodlines apart. And when episode 10 arrives, we will see who remains standing, who is left in the snow, and whose blood will be the last to mark the frozen earth.